It was in a dominant game, Game 4 of the NLCS back on October 15th. He went 5 innings to help close out the Cardinals, struck out 12 and got a lot of swing and miss that night.
Yeah, he threw a lot more fastballs than he normally does. He threw 27 four-seamers, 24 two-seamers, and still had 42 sliders, and he had a good mix of pitches. The challenge tonight for the Astros, as you mentioned earlier, they're going to have to force him to throw the fastball for strikes, and if he's going to be successful, Patrick Corbin has to throw fastball strikes to put that in the hitter's mind, and then he will get swings and misses on that devastating slider. He rarely throws the slider in the strike zone. It's a swing and miss slider. He wants to start it in the zone and break it down and in, especially to the right-handed hitters.
Yeah, we'll talk a lot about Patrick Corbin as we get going tonight. Let's take a look at A.J. Hinch's starting lineup card for this Game 4. No changes with the exception of Jake Marisnick in center field, batting number 8. And they like Marisnick in this matchup for a number of reasons that we'll get into when he sees the plate. Jose Altuve is the guy that keys the whole attack, as Buck mentioned in the open. A 23-game streak of postseason games in which he has reached base safely. A lot of international representation on the Astros side of things as they try to even up this series at 2 wins apiece. You know, yesterday it was a complete flip-flop of what had happened in games 1 and 2, and we touched upon the Astros' success with runners in scoring position. On the other side of that, the Nationals' failures in that department.
Yeah, man, I think the Nationals were probably a little bit too hyped up in this game. First World Series game, they had a 2-0 lead. They were thinking we can really step on the Astros' throats. I think they got a little bit over anxious. I expect them to be more patient and more selective tonight.
Boy, it is an anxious crowd, as you can certainly hear at home. Everybody on their feet for the first pitch of the night. And Game 4 is underway.
We told you the Corbin will throw 2 fastballs, a 4-seamer and a 2-seamer, and then that slider and an occasional curveball, but not many.
George Springer had a couple of hits yesterday, and the Astros win. There's a fastball for a strike. 63 degrees at game time. Once again, unseasonably comfortable weather here in D.C. And the numbers on Corbin's dominant start against the Cardinals back on the 15th. And it's 2 balls and a strike to George Springer.
Yeah, just because he has a great slider doesn't mean that his fastball isn't legit. He'll throw it 94, 95 miles an hour. He just missed on the inside part of the plate with that pitch.
There's the slider.
Swing and a miss slider, and it looks like it's going to be a strike. Tight spin, hard to identify if you're a hitter.
James Hoy calling balls and strikes tonight. Jim Wolf added to the field crew. He was a replay umpire previously in the series. That's the only new name as compared to last night's 6-man umpiring group. The 2-2 home. A full count now as he missed with the slider that time. Corbin's 3-2, and Springer fouls it away. It's Yan Gomes behind the plate receiving Corbin tonight, which in and of itself is not newsworthy because Gomes caught every one of Corbin's 33 regular season starts this year. The intrigue was around that man, Kurt Suzuki, today.
Yeah, he injured himself in the game last night, had to leave, a hip flexor problem, but he was examined by the medical staff and given the green light. He is active and ready to play tonight. But it's not the fact that he's injured, he's not in the lineup. Yan Gomes catches Corbin. They have great chemistry. You see the games. That was World Series Game 1 when Suzuki was behind the plate. That's the only time that Yan Gomes wasn't back behind the plate to call the signals for the pitcher Corbin.
We talked to Dave Martinez about that pairing before the game, and he says from spring training on, he's liked Yan Gomes' lateral movement because of breaking pitches like that. A nasty one to Springer. Every once in a while the catcher's going to have to move. Gomes didn't have to move a muscle on that pitch.
All right, Gomes is terrific at blocking balls in the dirt, and Corbin's going to throw some sliders in the dirt tonight, and he's got a lot of confidence in his catcher. If he does bounce it, he'll block it. He didn't bounce this one, boy. He paints the inside corner. Right on the corner with that great slider. Springer thought it was off the plate inside, but they called him out first out of the ball game.
Corbin picking up right where we left off a couple of weeks ago against the St. Louis Cardinals. Now it's Jose Altuve, also with 2 hits last night. And Altuve has a base hit. What's new? 7 for 17 in the series.
And 24 straight postseason games getting on base. I mean, he is one of the best hitters we have seen in the last several generations. He can put the bat on the ball as good as anybody. Not wasting any time at all. Pitch out over the plate. He's got such great plate coverage. He's 5'6", and he covers everything. He can hit the fastball up around his eyes. He can pick the breaking ball off the tips of his toes.
It's a generous 5'6", too. I know you've stood next to him. I opened up the media guide and saw 5'6", and then I went over there. More like 5'4 and a half.
Yeah, but he's, combing his hair very high now.
He's aboard with 1 gone now for Michael Brantley. Brantley yesterday, couple of hits and 2 runs batted in. And if we sound like a broken record, yes, the top of the lineup did a lot of damage for the Astros yesterday. Springer, Altuve, and Brantley each with multiple hit nights. And Brantley lines it back up the middle for a base hit. Singles on back-to-back pitches with 1 out of the first.
It's a great hitting lineup, and don't be discouraged about this national start, because Corbin can make some great pitches, but he's dealing with two of the best hitters in this lineup in Altuve and Brantley, and that breaking ball just gets too much of the plate. We mentioned that his best slider is the one that's in the zone and then out of the zone. This one was over the plate, and Brantley puts it in play.
So that brings up the player who, in the minds of some, is the key to an Astros win tonight. Alex Bregman has homered in the series, but it's his only hit in 3 games. After an 0 for 5 yesterday, he's 1 for 13 in the series. Bregman jumps on the first pitch. That's going to bring in a run. Singles on 3 straight pitches, and the Astros have scored first tonight.
They can do so many things to beat you, and you know what, they hit a lot of home runs, but boy, when they are using the whole field going back up the middle as Altuve and Brantley did, that sets the table for Alex Bregman. And Bregman got up to such a poor start in this World Series. Nobody in that Astros dugout is concerned at all about Alex Bregman. He jumps on that first pitch, another pitch that gets too much to the middle of the plate, and he barrels it up and picks up the first RBI of this ballgame.
Runners at the corners are run in with 1 away for Yuli Gurriel, who was 1 for 5 yesterday. And finally somebody takes a pitch. But Bregman had been grinding, and some of that frustration just not what we'd seen from him at all in what has been an MVP caliber year. A ball and a strike to Yuli Gurriel.
Yeah, and Bregman is certainly not going to pack up his bats and go home and feel sorry for himself. He has done nothing but work to figure out this thing. He had 3 good at bats last night. He just put the bat on the ball, didn't have much to show for it. And he comes out swinging first at bat and drives home the first run.
Houston has been feisty in the first inning in this series. A great play by Rendon to his feet. They yield a run, and the throw to first is not in time. It's 2-0 Houston.
Rendon with a terrific grab of that ball, but he made the wrong decision when he looked to second. He had no play at second at all, and by the time he realized that, it was too late to get Gurriel at first. The only play you're going to have in that situation is to go across the diamond, because the way Gurriel hit the ball, it took him a while to get out of the box. It's a base hit for Gurriel, and watch how Rendon looks to second. He's got no play there, and by the time he regroups, it's too late. Because this ball was hit so hard, Gurriel is late getting out of the box, but still that look to second proved costly for Rendon.
So now Carlos Correa who takes a fastball for a strike. That's 4 straight one-out singles by the Astros in the first. Correa's just 2 for 13 in the series after a base hit yesterday. Spiked his slider that time, and it's 1-1.
There's the presence of Gomes behind the plate where he could get that slider, play it off his chest protector. You know, oftentimes, and we talk about this all the time, boy, a pitcher really needs to throw strikes, and he bounces this slider, but Gomes squares it up. But I think in this inning, Patrick Corbin has thrown too many strikes, too many balls out over the heart of the plate. And he's got to get that breaking ball down and into the right-handed hitters if that's going to be a good pitch for him.
1-1 to Correa. An appeal and no swing, says Lance Barksdale, who's at first base tonight. We talked about Yan Gomes receiving Patrick Corbin for a reason. He has worked well with him, and these are some of the nasty sliders that he's had to move around on, as we talked about a moment ago.
Yeah, he's terrific with balls in the dirt. Gomes started his pro career with the Toronto Blue Jays. He was born in Brazil, grew up in Florida. And he went through the minor league system with the Blue Jays, got to the big leagues for a while, and then has really come into his own, first with Cleveland and now here with Washington.
Three balls and a strike. And a full count to Correa, who had already started to take off the pad. Let's see if the runners go with one gone. Big lead off first for Gurriel. They stay put. Correa fouls it away.
Yeah, I think because Corbin is such a good strikeout pitcher, they're not going to take a chance and have a strike him out, throw him out to end this threat. They got him on the ropes right now. Springer passing on some information that he gained in his first at bat. Remember, he was called out to start this inning on a good breaking ball.
Slider is the preferred weapon when the chips are down, as they are here for Corbin in the first. A rough start to game 4. And he missed with ball 4. That loads the bases with one away. So after the 8-pitch strikeout to George Springer, 5 straight Astros have reached base. And this has a potential to get a lot worse here. For that reason, Paul Menhardt's coming out to make an early visit.
Pitching coach Paul Menhardt took over in May. He was the pitching coordinator in minor leagues. They made a change, and Menhardt came in. He's done a nice job, and right now he's just trying to get everything calmed down in this inning. One out, bases loaded. Double play will get you out of a jam and minimize the impact of just 2 runs if he can get out of it from this point forward.
Well, let me ask you this, because we know about the back of the baseball card from Patrick Corbin. He's coming off his finest regular season campaign ever. But in this postseason, and you mentioned how a lot of the damage on the ERA came from that one bad outing in LA, the 2/3 of an inning in the NLDS. He's been used in a variety of ways this postseason. He has not been able to enjoy anything close to a real routine ever since the month of October began.
Yeah, you talk about the fact that he has gone back and forth, and Dave Martinez told us early in this World Series that all of the pitchers have bought into being used out of the bullpen, but you're right, it might have an impact as far as his routine.
Here's Robinson Chirinos now. Chirinos homered yesterday. Part of a 2-for-6 World Series for him. Pretty short list of pitchers that have made 3+ appearances as a starter and a reliever in the same postseason. Miguel Batista with the 0-1 Diamondbacks, Brad Penny with the Marlins in 03. Both of those guys won World Series with those teams.
Houston's done exactly what they had hoped to do here in the first inning, make Patrick Corbin throw a lot of pitches, 23 pitches in the opening frame tonight. And now they're deep in their lineup here in the first inning.
Another right-handed batter on deck with one gone. A ball and a strike.
See Gomes block another ball. Ray Fosse, the terrific catcher and now broadcaster of the Oakland A's, believes catchers should be given stats about bases saved on balls in the dirt. It's a pretty good concept. We got stats for everything else, and Gomes should be awarded right there for saving a run with a great block.
Well, why haven't we thought of that one yet? You're right. I mean, there's a stat for everything. 1-1 to Chirinos. Missed with a breaking ball, 2 balls and a strike. Let's take it back to yesterday and the solo homer by Robinson Chirinos.
In the 6th inning, he squares up a fastball. That's a no doubt, and the only question was whether it was going to hook foul, and it hits the foul pole. Big shot, little insurance for the Astros. That came in the 6th inning. That was their final run and a 4-1 win.
2-1 pitch to Chirinos, bounce to third. The ball that Corbin was looking for to get him out of any further trouble. Boy, when 5 straight hitters reach base, you're thinking it's going to be worse than just 2 runs. But that bouncing ball was able to put a tourniquet on what could have been a very troubling inning for the Washington Nationals. As it is, the Astros score first. Only a half inning gone, and it's 2-0 Astros.